Chapter 6, Runaway Train. Welcome to the action-packed conclusion to The Last Express. Fights, explosions, you name it, it's here. Of course our hero is sort of tied up at the moment. Maybe we'd better take care of that little detail first. To successfully complete Chapter 6, you must untie Kath, win 3 tough fights with Serbs, 2 atop the train, free the other passengers, create a mini-train, keep the locomotive moving, have a special rendezvous with Anna, and then bring the Firebird to a surprise visitor and make it sing. Baggage car. Escape. Kath starts out Chapter 6 bound, gagged, and unconscious. When you awaken, you gaze groggily at the ceiling of the baggage car. Your hands are tied behind your back and your inventory is inaccessible. Now what? How to get Kath unbound. Here's the quickest way to get free of the ropes. 1. Turn in any direction to see Kath wake up and struggle with his bonds. 2. Look down, then click up. Again, Kath struggles to get free. This time, you hear something drop to the ground. The match is in Kath's pocket. 3. Look down, then move the cursor until it turns into a hand. 4. Click the hand cursor. Kath gropes on the floor behind him, picks up a match, lights it, and burns through the rope. Click up again. Kath removes the ropes. Try to sit up. Matches fall out of your pocket. Kath uses them to burn his way to freedom. How to win the fight with Ivo. An old-fashioned fist fight. No weapons, no kung fu, just duck, throw, punches, hit, or be hit. How refreshing. Exit the room and run into Ivo the Terrible. Don't swing first. Ivo's quicker than he looks, and he'll duck your punch. Instead, let Ivo swing. When you see him start to punch, move the cursor low, it becomes a back arrow, and quickly to duck. If Ivo whiffs his punch, immediately move the cursor over him, it becomes a fist icon, and click to deliver a jaw-rattling counterpunch. After you defeat Ivo, simply walk forward through the door. Kath finds Anna and unties her. She claims they must stop the train because, once we're in Serbia, they'll kill us. Kath and Anna's conversation differs depending on whether you followed Anna into her room for a kiss after defusing the bomb, and whether you found the crossed-out letter to Baron Unra in August's compartment. If you found the letter and kissed Anna, Kath now reveals a further plot twist suggesting that both Anna and August are pawns in a conspiracy to start World War I. It makes no difference, though. She doesn't believe you. Wrong move. Lose the fight to Ivo. Ivo's a big fellow with power in his punch. Don't let Kath take more than 4 or 5 hits, or it's lights out. Find the passengers. Notice how quiet the train is? Where is everybody? If you want, you can search all the sleeping compartments now. There's not a soul to stop you. There's nothing in it for you either. We're past the point where skulking about the train gets you anywhere. There's not much to see that you haven't already seen, with one exception. Enter compartment E and read the latest entries in Rebecca's journal. Wrong move. Don't enter the restaurant car. Vesna has positioned herself as a sword-armed sentry in the salon. If you dare to enter the restaurant car, Kath undergoes an extremely unpleasant experience known as bifurcation. Bifurcation. If Kath so much as steps into the salon, here's what he runs into. Remember, a Kath divided against itself cannot stand. Train top combat. So instead of entering the salon, turn left on the platform between the red car and the restaurant car. Exit through the door, you don't need a key anymore, and climb to the top of the train. Note, you can also get to the top of the train from the rear platform of the green car. Go forward, toward the smoking locomotive, and take a meeting with Salko, who's still armed with his crowbar. How to win the fight with Salko. When you reach the restaurant car, Salko climbs up and fights you. The instant Salko begins to swing the crowbar, jump back. While Kath jumps back, move the cursor over Salko. If the cursor turns into a fist, quickly to punch Salko. Try to hit Salko a couple of times. He deserves it. After Kath lands a few punches, the cursor changes to an open hand instead of a fist when you jump back. Quickly to grab the crowbar. Kath pushes Salko off the train. Wrong move. Lose fight with Salko. As you might imagine, it doesn't take too many hits from a crowbar to put Kath out of commission. How to win the fight with Vesna. Stand still or take a few steps up train. It doesn't matter, really. Soon you'll hear the unsettling shing of a sword leaving its scabbard. Let's see. What Serbs are left? Oh yeah, Vesna, the one who hates Kath. She climbs up behind you. Turn around quickly when you hear her unsheath her sword, or she kills you from behind without a second thought. Vesna has 2 attacks, a low thrust and a high slash. If she thrusts low, move the cursor low. It becomes a back arrow, and click to dodge. As an added treat, click quickly when you see the cursor become a fist icon, as in the previous fight during your dodge. You get the satisfaction of clubbing Vesna across the jaw with a crowbar. If Vesna slashes high, move the cursor high. It becomes an up arrow, and click to block. After a few times, you should easily recognize each attack in time to dodge or block. You can't actually defeat Vesna in this stage of the fight. The key is to stay alive until the tunnel arrives. After 4 or 5 blows, watch Vesna carefully. When she suddenly ducks, this means the tunnel is coming. Move your cursor low, it becomes a down arrow as here, and click quickly to hit the deck. When the train emerges from the tunnel darkness, Kath is dangling from the rooftop with Vesna gleefully stomping on his hands. It looks scary. But you don't have to do anything. Just sit back and watch as Vesna grabs Vesna's foot and yanks her off the train. As Kath grabs Vesna's foot and yanks her off the train. Wrong move. Lose fight with Vesna. 3 ways. This is your last fight sequence in the Last Express, so the designers made it the toughest. Vesna can end your game in one of 4 ways. One way is if Kath fails to duck when Vesna hits the deck. He's clobbered from behind as the train approaches through the approaching tunnel. As the train passes through the approaching tunnel. The other 3. If you don't turn around when you hear Vesna unsheath her sword, Kath takes a nasty slash to the throat. If you fail to block Vesna's high sword slash, Kath gets a throat wound as well. If you fail to parry Vesna's low sword thrust, Kath takes about 6 inches of steel in the gut. Ouch! Free the passengers. After winning the fight with Vesna, go down train to the first platform and climb down. You should be next to the restaurant car. Enter the salon. The rest of the passengers are confined to the dining room, where all the tables have been turned up, except one. By the way, where do you suppose Anna has gone? Remember, she wants to stop the train before it crosses the border into Serbia. The Orient Express does so shortly before reaching Belgrade at about 6:35 a.m. Dining room. Free the gang. Train party! Well, maybe not. Nobody's happy and I don't see a keg anywhere. After Kath reassures the trainmaster that he's not a terrorist mass murderer, most of the passengers file back to their sleeping cars. Sleeping cars, after freeing the passengers. After the group scene, you end up in the red car. The trainmaster walks the train, telling everyone to stay in their compartments. You can explore a bit, but don't linger. You must gain control of the train before Anna stops the train, usually around 5:50 a.m. The conductors run about trying to calm hysterical passengers. Oddly, the worst is Claude Bouturel. Just for fun, knock at a few doors. Important. If the Firebird is in your compartment, now's a good time to transfer to Max's kennel in the uptrain baggage car. Be sure you don't leave the whistle in your compartment either. You'll need both items to complete the game, and leaving them in your compartment isn't a good idea, for reasons that soon become clear. Dining room. Talk to Tatiana and Vasily. Tatiana, still smeared with Alexei's blood, sits peacefully unhinged at a table with her equally dissociated grandfather. It's a sad sight. Click on them to try to talk. Tatiana can't hear you. Her grandfather tries to soothe her with images of her childhood home, to no avail. Salon, pick up the whistle, if Kath didn't get it from Francois earlier. If you've missed your opportunities to obtain the Firebird from Francois, see how to get whistle from Francois in Chapter 3. Here's another opportunity. Stand by the entrance to the salon and turn to look down at Kath's seat. Looks like Francois dropped his little treasure in the heat of the hijacking. Pick it up. Believe me, you'll need it more than he does. Wrong move. Fail to gain control of the train by 5:50 a.m. Anna wins. Kath needs to gain control of the train before Anna does. If he doesn't, Anna will stop the train between 5:50 and 6:30 a.m., and the game's over. This ending isn't so bad. Kath ends up a hero. Rather ironic in light of subsequent events, writes Rebecca, but you want to make it to Constantinople, don't you? If you don't unhook the sleeping cars, see the next section, Unhook the Cars, and gain control of the train by the Serbian border, Anna takes matters into her own capable hands, stopping the train at 5:50 a.m. Before you head up to the engine and make a play for control of the train, let's get rid of some excess baggage. After all, you don't want to go barreling wildly through Serbia to Constantinople with a bunch of innocent bystanders in tow. How to unhook the cars. Gee, you wouldn't think that unhooking an entire train would be as easy as it is, but it's disturbingly simple. Step in the platform between the red car and the restaurant car and look down. That is, move the cursor until it becomes a down arrow, as shown here, and click. You find yourself looking at the floor. Click on the floor plate to slide up and expose the hook between cars. Click on the hook to trigger the following sequence. Just as Kath prepares to unhook the cars, August appears and accuses you of trying to steal his merchandise. If you've read August's letter to the Baron, Kath now takes the opportunity, before saying goodbye, to inform August that Anna Wolf is a spy, and that Schmidt's associates back in Germany set him up to get caught smuggling arms. August is stunned by this double betrayal. Kath reaches down to unhook the cars. As the cars slowly pull apart, Kath finally tells August his real name. Wrong move number 1. Fail to unhook the cars. After winning your fight with Vesna, don't make the mistake of going directly to the locomotive without unhooking the sleeping cars. If you go all the way forward to the locomotive, Kath gets to look down the barrel of yet another gun. This time it's Milosh's. The fun doesn't last long, though. Anna suddenly appears and shoots Milosh dead. The locomotive slows to a stop. If you do nothing, the game's over. If you pull the lever to restart the train, Anna points out that an entire trainload of innocent people are still attached to the locomotive. Kath relents. Anna pushes the lever to stop the train. Again, game over. Wrong move number 2. Leave Firebird or Whistle behind when you unhook the cars. As you've no doubt surmised by now, the Firebird and the Scarab Whistle are important items. So if you store either of these objects in your sleeping car compartment and then unhook the sleeping cars, well, you're going to miss them. The consequences won't be apparent until the end of the game. But don't wait till then. Do yourself a favor. Rewind to just before you unhook the cars, go back to Tyler's compartment, retrieve those 2 valuable objects, then unhook the cars. This stuff fits perfectly in the chest. Don't leave it here, though. Before you unhook the sleeping cars, move the egg to Max's kennel in the up-train baggage car and keep the whistle in your inventory. Mini-train. Now that you've lightened your load by cutting loose all those passengers, it's time to take control of the train. If you don't, Anna will stop the train at around 6:30 a.m. Go to the locomotive. Climb back on top of the train and go forward to the locomotive. Here's your confrontation with Milosh. He admits that, although you're not a Slav, he's pretty upset about what he considers your betrayal. His goal is to take the train into Serbia and unload the arms. But then Anna shoots Milos. The train starts slowing down. Don't let the train stop! Anna, of course, is determined to stop the train before it crosses the border into Serbia. Then she can stop the arms shipment and become, with Kath ironically, a hero decorated by the Austrian monarchy. Kath, however, has other ideas. After the non-interactive sequence with Anna ends, you face the instrumentation of the locomotive. Turn left to see the lever. Pull the lever to restart the train. Anna threatens Kath with her gun again, but after 2 times at gunpoint, Kath isn't taking her threats very seriously anymore. He calls her bluff. The train approaches the border gate and crashes through. Wrong move. Fail to restart the train. If you let Anna stop the train before the Serbian border, either by not pulling the lever to restart the train or by not reaching the locomotive in time, the game ends. Kath ends up with a meaningless medal from the Austrian monarchy, and you get cheated out of reaching Constantinople. Train chase. Once you cross the border into Serbia, Anna accepts the situation like a trooper. She grabs the coal spade and starts shoveling. Soon, George Abbott leaps down off the coal car and joins your locomotive party. Abbott points out that you have company, a Serbian army train now chasing the express. A Serbian switchman routes the Orient Express onto a different track. The engineer reports that the express is now headed for the old bridge, and warns that it will collapse. If you ever find yourself in this situation, remember, if you make the train go very, very fast, you'll find yourself on the other side before the bridge has time to realize it's collapsing. Kath has read as Jules Verne, so he knows this will work. Sure enough, the bridge collapses behind them, stranding the Serbian army train on the other side. Return to the locomotive. Optional. If you return to the locomotive after your successful escape from the Serbian army train, Abbott tells you to get some rest. Important. If you don't have the whistle, this is your last chance to pick it up in the salon where Francois dropped it next to Kath's seat. Baggage car. Rendezvous with Anna. Here's another payoff for all the hard work you've done in the last express. Go to the personnel compartment, the side room off the baggage car corridor, to trigger another long and interesting movie sequence. Anna sits smoking in the personnel compartment. Kath laments Tyler's death and his inability to make headway in solving the murder. After some existential discussion, Kath impulsively asks Anna to join him on his journey to Jerusalem. Her response is ambiguous, but not unpleasant. The Orient Express plows on through the night, with a cheerful Abbott at the helm, on its way to the late arrival in Constantinople at 6:30 p.m. the next evening. The next evening, about an hour before Constantinople, Anna and Kath discuss the unusual family crest on his ring. Then Anna heads out. Kath is feeling pretty happy. But then, as the train pulls out of the station, he glances out the window and notices a familiar-looking private rail car attached to the engine stopped on the next track. Restaurant car, the finale. And so begins the final interactive sequence of The Last Express. Go down the corridor from the baggage car to the restaurant car. Russians in the kitchen. As you pass the kitchen, glance over at the booth to see Tatiana and Vasily asleep. Salon. Return of Kronos. Enter the salon. Hey, look who's here. Your old buddy Kahina lets you in. Kronos is holding Anna a hostage. He demands the Firebird. Bring Kronos the Firebird. Go get the Firebird from Max's kennel and take it to his most totally excellent. Don't linger, or Kahina takes an accurate whack at your skull with a heavy studded iron bracelet. Kronos demands that you open the Firebird. Compliance is your best bet here. For instructions on opening the Firebird, see Chapter 7, Firebird Puzzle Solution. Kronos then forces Anna to play her violin to make the bird sing. Blow the whistle. After the bird sings, Kronos has seen all he wants. Now he orders you, at gunpoint of course, to close up the Firebird. Don't do it! Instead, highlight the whistle in your inventory, move the whistle icon over the Firebird, and click to blow the whistle, initiating the final sequence. Wrong moves. Fail the Firebird confrontation. There are many ways to screw up your final confrontation with Kronos. If you lost the Firebird by leaving in the wrong half of the train when you unhook the cars, well, Kronos is not amused by this sort of incompetence. By the same token, if you remember the Firebird but forgot the whistle in the wrong half of the train, you now have no choice but to close the Firebird and hand it over to Kronos after it sings. If you fail to bring the Firebird back in time, or re-enter the salon without the Firebird, or fail to open the Firebird in time, Kath meets the iron bracelet of Kahina. If you fail to close the Firebird with sufficient alacrity after Kronos commands you to do so, he shoots you. On the other hand, if you obey Kronos and close the Firebird as directed, he and Kahina leave the train with the priceless egg. Moments later, Kath and Anna meet their doom in a mysterious fiery explosion. Final sequence. Blowing the whistle at the open Firebird triggers the endgame movie sequence. As the bloodthirsty bird does its work on Kronos and Kahina, Kath and Anna climb out the window and leap from the moving train. Meanwhile, back on the train, poor demented Tatiana has discovered the munitions cache. Lifting a machine gun from its crate, she strikes the flint of a lighter, and there goes the baggage car. Up in the locomotive, Abbott gets a bit of a hot foot too. Kath and Anna can only watch as the conflagration grows, and the Firebird circles away in an ever-widening gyre, until all that can be seen is the red eye of a new era, where technology transforms war into slaughter, and the Orient Express, with its promise of open borders and a new Europe, slowly fades into memory. Summary. Winning and losing scenarios for Chapter 6. Let's quickly reiterate all the necessary actions and wrong turns you can take in Chapter 6. Necessary actions. To successfully complete Chapter 6, you must do the following. Untie yourself in the baggage car. Win a fight with Ivo. Climb on top of the train and win a fight with Salko. Stay alive in a fight with Vesna, and then duck when she ducks to avoid the tunnel entrance. Enter the restaurant car to free the passengers. Unhook the sleeping cars from the train. Climb on top of the train. Go forward to the locomotive and pull the lever to restart the train. Go to the baggage car to meet Anna. Go to the salon to meet Kronos. Afterward, take him the Firebird. Open the Firebird for Kronos. See Chapter 7 for details. When Kronos orders Kath to close the egg, blows the whistle to trigger the endgame sequence. Wrong turns. You lose the game if any of the following happens. Ivo knocks you out in a fight. After escaping the baggage car, enter the salon before climbing on top of the train and winning 2 fights. Vesna bifurcates you with a sword. Salko kills you in a fight atop the train. Vesna kills you atop the train. Let Anna stop the train before Belgrade. Who needs a medal from the Austrian Empire? Go to the locomotive without unhooking the cars first. If you do, Anna stops the train. Leave either the Firebird or the whistle in their chest, in compartment 1, when you unhook the cars. Fail to take the Firebird to Kronos in time. Kahina kills you. Fail to open the Firebird for Kronos in time. Kronos loses his patience and Kahina kills you. Fail to close the Firebird in time. Kronos shoots you. Obey Kronos and close the Firebird instead of blowing the whistle.